Welcome back to my channel. If you're joining us for the first time, you're highly welcome. And if you've visited our site before, I also welcome you. Today we're beginning our book review, The Discipline That Works by Wendy Ologi. I believe you have been expecting this review. Sit tight, get something to do, so that you will benefit from this book review. So today we're going to be reviewing chapter 1 of the book of The Discipline That Works by Wendy Ologi. I am your anchor, Amarachi Eze. So before we start this chapter 1, I want to ask a question. If you're taught a better way to discipline without yelling and flogging, will you follow through? So if you will follow through, then make sure you don't miss this review. The timetable is already up in our WhatsApp group, so if you are not there, find the link to join our WhatsApp group so that you don't miss out whenever we upload the review chapters. We have 8 chapters in this review. Chapter 1 says, knowledge is a requirement for discipline. Knowledge is a requirement for discipline. We want to know the myths people have on discipline. People's belief on discipline. First of all, people see discipline as punishment. Whenever people hear discipline, what comes to mind is punishment or inflicting pain on a child to change their behavior. So that's number 1 myth. Another statement people hold so tightly is spare the rod and spoil the child. Yes, I believe this is correct, but the question is, what is actually the rod? That is where we get it wrong. Is the rod cane? Is it rod? Is it eating? So come with me, so we'll actually dissect this and understand what this is. Another question, which words describe who you want to see in your child's future? So many of us have so many things we hope to see in our children. We have so many behaviors we want our children to exhibit. In the nearest future, you want to see your child as hardworking, reliable, resilient. You want to see a respectful child, someone that is capable, self-sufficient, self-motivated, compassionate, generous, or anything you can think of. That's the dream of every parent. But for every method of discipline you consider, always ask yourself, will this method guide and instruct my child to be more like the adjectives I chose? Will yelling at my child teach him how to be respectful to others? If I continue to flog him every day, will he learn compassion? Will cleaning my child's room for him or picking up his toys encourage him to be self-sufficient? For your discipline to work, you must learn to have your ultimate goal in your face at all times. And that goal should be to have your children learn from their mistakes so as not to repeat those things again. We see that most times we try as much as possible not to allow our children to make mistakes. When they make mistakes, we yell at them, we shout at them, we hit them. But we have forgotten that mistakes are what helps children learn. For instance, in spellings, a child spells the first time, he doesn't get it. Or take for instance, when you were a child doing spelling bee, or when you spell the first time, you may not get it. Your teacher gives you correction. Tomorrow you may still not get it. But when it becomes consistent, you see you get it. So, but we don't allow our children to make mistakes. What we do is we inflict pain on them so that they will be afraid not to do that thing again. If you have watched my video on mistakes and failures are tools in parenting, you understand what I'm saying. If you've not watched that, still go back to the channel. If you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to it so that you will find videos there that will help you even understand this topic more. When you don't allow children to make mistakes, you only breed hypocrisy. When you are there, they behave well. But when you're not there, they behave as they like. And when they know you're coming, they pretend. This is what we have been able to achieve by flogging our children, by yelling at them. Simple knowledge can work magic for you in parenting. There is no magic wand to parenting. Really, all the work lies in finding the right knowledge and applying them effectively. So if you're here, you are at the right place. We must understand that you can't go on this parenting journey without knowledge. So the need to unlearn what you already see as discipline and learn and relearn new and effective ways to discipline. So one of the learning points is that discipline is not punishment. Most times we often equate the term discipline with punishment. That's wrong. The word punish comes from the Latin root punere, which means take vengeance for, inflict a penalty or cause pain for some offense. But the word discipline comes from the Latin word disciplina, which means to teach, to guide, to instruct. That's the key to correcting your child's behavior, giving them the required tools to learn alternative positive behaviors to replace the negative behavior they are being reproved for. Also, if you have not watched Why Children Misbehave, I think that's either chapter 3 or chapter 4 of the book review we did, Connect to Correct. Please also find that on our channel. You will learn a lot from it. When we punish with the intent to have the child pay for the mistake, it doesn't help her learn how to make a better choice next time. Punishment often leads to power contests. That's why you see teenagers today who fight their parents or teachers in school. The truth is, there is a better way parents can and should discipline their children. It is a parent's job to teach their children about expectations, rules, morals, and values. Children need to be given consistent discipline to be taught right from wrong, to be kept safe, and to learn what they can and cannot do. They need reasonable boundaries. So the big question is, how do you assert control without becoming abusive? The simple answer is knowledge. There is basic knowledge about parenting that empowers you know why a child is acting the way they do. There are better ways to create boundaries with your child without inflicting injuries. If your child knows you understand what he is going through, it gives you the leverage to be able to influence them. So knowledge can just be the solution you need for that poor behavior you have been battling with. You're watching this video is already a sign that you're seeking knowledge. Subscribe to our channel, find those reviews, and you will discover better ways to connect with your children, understand them, and also know why they misbehave in the first place. So knowledge is key. You may say our parents parented us without seeking any form of knowledge in parenting. Yes, you are right. But parenting in the 21st century is tough for both the child and the parent. It's nothing like what our parents saw. For instance, pornography was not in our faces like it is now. How many children committed suicide when you were growing up? Today it's no longer news. Did you ever see a child, an 8-year-old, get addicted to any form of hard drugs? Nowadays, it's all around us. You see adults abusing drugs in front of children and they don't care. It has become a norm. Why we argue that our parents didn't have to learn parenting, let's also remember that both we and our parents didn't have access to the internet growing up as we and our children have today. The internet has changed the game for 21st century parenting. It's no longer business as usual. Someone said we were raised for a world that no longer exists, and that's true. When our parents parented us, that's the world they were in no longer exists. This is an entire new world. Things have changed as a result of the coming of internet. Children have access to information that they may not even be able to manage. So as a parent, you need knowledge to help your child control the rate of information that gets into him. You might be thinking, does this really matter? After all, we all survived our times. Trust me, our seeming survival was because the vices in our time weren't as bad as what we have today. Today, we're battling with so much, raising the 21st century child. We have drug addiction, suicide, sexual abuse, rape, instant gratification. All these are on the rise, they are on the increase. The menace is upon us. So while most of us were abused as a way of correction in our times, and we managed to pull through, the 21st century child might not withstand the same because the influence of today's world on them is massive. It's a millennium of knowledge. You can't afford luck and assumptions. Because the 21st century is a millennium of knowledge, your child might be faster than you if care is not taken. So, dear parents, wake up from your slumber and get to work acquiring valuable knowledge. Else, you may lose your child. But God forbid. I know that's what we all say. But know that God forbid is not a parenting strategy. Again, parents usually have good intentions towards correcting their children, but we ruin it all with our process because we lack essential knowledge. Yes, every one of us, by shouting, by yelling, we feel we're correcting it. We have that's a good intention we have, but we're marrying those children by so doing. One of the reasons a parent overreacts when their child does something wrong is lack of knowledge. Because you don't know that mistakes are tools in parenting and not a judgment table. Please find my review on what makes children misbehave. I've said it before. Please find that review so that you will go through it. You understand why children are misbehaving. It's not actually that they want to misbehave or that they want to punish you. But most times the case is that they are learning their word. They want to know what their word is all about. Also, one of the reasons your child might be misbehaving is also lack of knowledge. I want to ask you this question. Are you learning? Are you teaching? The truth is that if you are having too many challenges with your child as a parent, you should ask yourself, am I taking full responsibility? What do I know? And how much of what I claim to know do I really know? To help become a better parent, you need to join the Intentional Parent Academy. Check the descriptions for detail on how to do that. It will help you a lot. You need to know that there is no magic wand to parenting. What parenting requires is you getting knowledge and applying it to your child specifically. No one will do the job of studying and understanding your child. It's your job only. Children are wired differently. No child is the same. So if you understand your child, you know how to help this child. We just concluded the Understanding Your Child's Learning Style course. You can catch a replay on that. Check the description also for that details. Your fear as a parent comes from insufficient knowledge. You see, parents, most times they are afraid. That is why any small thing, they don't want their child to go out. They are afraid. They have not taught this child when you go out what you shouldn't do. So they are afraid, which is as a result of lack of knowledge of how to inculcate this knowledge on these children. Get out of your fear zone today and seek knowledge. If it needs you to pay, please do so. You need to stand up and take responsibility. Get the knowledge and stop the blame game. Most times we keep blaming teachers that they are the ones spoiling your children. No, you're the first teacher to your child. So get the knowledge that is needed to equip this child for the world. Parenting is about you, not your child. Ask yourself, what do I need to change about me to parent more effectively? It's not about your child, but you. How many books on parenting have you read? How many seminars have you attended on parenting? The truth is, no one is born a parent. We learn to be a parent. You are never old enough to become a parent. Even if you're a grandmother today, If you didn't learn the process to parent, you can never parent effectively, especially the 21st century child. So, dear parents, there is no magic wand to parenting. You need knowledge. You need the right tools. Raising a child in the 21st century isn't a joke. It's not anything like what our parents knew. You will fail if you ever think you can use the same tact. What will you start doing differently to parent your child more effectively? Are you learning or are you giving excuses? The Bible says in Proverbs, "My people perish for lack of knowledge, not lack of prayers." So start learning today. Make sure you follow through this review section from chapter 1 to 8. Buy parenting books, pay for courses. It is small changes that accumulate to excellence. Next, the discipline that works will teach you what works and why. There is a tact to discipline. You shouldn't discipline all your children the same way because they don't have the same personality and learning style. Children are different. They have different temperaments. They have different learning styles. So you can't discipline them the same way. The tools shared in this book will help you get your discipline to work. Finally, I would like you to meditate on these quotes. Use them as food for thought. 1. Parents usually all have good intentions, but we ruin it with our process because we lack knowledge. Is this true? Do you think that the process you're using for discipline is ruining your child? I've seen cases where children, mostly teenagers, leave their homes for their parents just because the parents are using a process that makes the child not to be him or herself. Another quote, knowledge can just be the solution you need for that poor behavior you have been battling with. Think about it. So this first chapter is telling you about need to get knowledge. There is a discipline that works. There is a how to discipline, and there is also a why to discipline. We have actually come to the end of this review. Thank you for your time. We'll be going to the WhatsApp group. There are questions and answer section. Please be part of it. If you also have your own question, drop it in that platform and it will be attended to. See you in our next review.